All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim teaching about the mind Mat. That's in sincerity and truth. The Great Millstone Dallas branch. I got myself right here. I got Anna with me. And we're gonna continue with the series. And this week we on Judges chapter 5. So Lord willing it to be edifying. And let's go, champ.
Kind. Yep. So, like the elder said, we read Judges chapter 4 last week, which pretty much was the story of Deborah and Barak. Okay. And pretty much how they defeated. Let me go back. Okay. They defeated Sisera, okay, who was the captain of the host of Jabin, the king of Canaan. Okay. And really, the Lord showed, his power and his works through the hand of somebody who wasn't even in the Israelite army, but actually the wife of a Midianite. Okay. That pretty much ended up putting Sisera to death. All right. And so this is like a continuation of chapter 4. And when you go into it, it's titled The Song of Deborah and Barak. And songs typically were sung whenever there was a triumph, right? You have the song in, I believe it's Exodus 15. You have the song that David sang multiple. Obviously, he wrote a lot of the Psalms in the book of Psalms. In various different times he sang songs, and that's part of our culture, to pray to the Lord and hymns and songs. So this is just a chapter basically that has some prophecy in here, and Lord willing, we go through it, get all of the edification out of it. So this is Judges chapter 5:1. It says, "Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, the day that Sisera basically was put to death." Right. So it says, "Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, Praise ye Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves." Right? Because if you go back to chapter 4, it talks about how Barak had basically went through Israel, right, and gotten 10,000 men. Okay, now, he did predominantly get them out of Naphtali. The army was out of Naphtali, but whenever they were chasing the armies of Sisera, okay, across Israel, you had the other tribes pretty much come in and help, except for a couple of them, right? But there was other tribes that came in and helped as well, right? And let's see here. So let's go back. Let's go back to chapter 5. I'm going to get a precept as well. Actually, I'll read verse 3, and then I'll get a precept. It says, "Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. Even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, the power of Israel." Let me get that word "sing" real quick. See what that says.
But then it mentioned in Revelation, when it comes to standing stiffly versus the mark of the beast, they sung the song of Moses. So yeah, man, yeah. I would say that when we call on the Lord come deliver us, and that's the main theme. You see, so it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to have that understanding now. When you go back into history and you understand that every time the Lord called on us, even it tell you that in the Apocrypha, said who had ever been confounded that called on the name of the Lord, and we got all these examples, past, present, and future,
Yep. It's pretty much, well, let me get the Hebrew word here. Strong's H7891, Shayar, and it says mostly to sing, but let's see what else it has down here. Shayar or Shawar, to sing to anyone's honor, to sing in anyone's honor, to celebrate in song, Yeah, so that was part of our heritage, was to sing in celebration. Okay, and so, you know, declare. This also said declaim with a loud voice, so on and so forth, to celebrate. You know, so singing is likened unto celebration, right? And that's why Jake be loving parties, man. And Jake loved the party. You know, that they like celebrating for no really no reason. But this is Isaiah chapter 25:1. It says, "O Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi, thou art my power. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth."
Which is what we doing. Which is what we doing now, man. You see, going into the history, going into all these maps, going into the mindset, going into all these different things, is what put us in the position to bring the word out in sincerity and truth now. You know, going back into these accounts, strict as our faith, because we see how our forefathers' faith was increased. You know, and during these times, while the elect of those times, while their faith is being increased, you see how the rest of the nation was responding. You know, you had nation. Y'all said you had tribes that didn't want to help.
Yeah, we're going. Well, actually, let me go ahead and get this real quick on the. I believe it's the cross reference. Hold on. Oh, this is the wrong one. This one here. To your point, Zaquan, when you read this footnote here, it kind of gives a breakdown of this chapter, right? It says, this verse, this is the chapter of Judges 5. It says, this verse briefly recites the subject of the inspired song, which consists of 8 stanzas. And basically, a stanza is a line in a poem, you know what I'm saying? So you could think of it like different categories of a poem, right? So it says the first opens out with
or as Jake would call today, bars.
Right.
Yeah. Israel done always had bars.
Yep. So you can say this is a verse right here.
Yep.
You know, with 8 bars in it.
That's
it
right.
Says the first opens with a devout thanksgiving. The second describes the magnificent scenes at Mount Sinai, etc. The third states the apostasy and consequent punishment of the Israelites. The fourth contrasts their present happy state. The fifth censors the recreant tribes of Reuben, Gad, etc. And basically, when it says censors, it means like it condemns the rebellious tribes of Reuben, Gad, basically the ones that didn't help. You know what I'm saying? Because they had their own thing going on. I think this actually says a little bit better in the commentary too. Yeah, here it is right here. It says, when Israel's leaders, this is in the Bridgeway Bible commentary, by the way. It says, when Israel's leaders stirred themselves to overthrow the Canaanites, most of the tribes joined enthusiastically. It says, with Benjamin and Ephraim in the lead, and Manasseh, Zebulun and Naphtali and Issachar following, the Israelites down the valley and attack the enemy, right? But it says, shame on Reuben, Gad, Asher, and Dan, who are selfishly concerned with their own affairs and did not come to help the other tribes. You know, which we're gonna go into that. But since you mentioned it, you know, there were a group of tribes that didn't participate because they had their own thing going on, you know.
Right. All Israelites, right? But they had their own thing going on. Just like you can liken these groups today. All these different camps is different tribes. Great Millstone is a tribe. IUIC is a tribe. ISUPK is a tribe. You see? And then you got I would say you got the tribes, you got the affiliate camps of the Great Millstone, and Great Millstone through the Spirit. And then you got all these other groups, the Sakari and GOCC and all the other groups, you see? But not all of them want to help when it comes to putting their hand to the plow and doing what needs to be done for the deliverance of the nation. Okay? Mm-hmm. You can liken all our history to the present. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, verse 4, O Yahawah, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, the heavens dropped, the clouds also dropped water. Okay, so again, this is another part of the song. Okay, where prophecy, we broke this down in the end of the last chapter, the end of the last lesson. Going after we read chapter 4, but I'll go ahead and get it again. You know what I'm saying? The precept that we used for verse 4 was in, I think, Habakkuk chapter 3. Yep, there we go. This is Habakkuk chapter 3, okay, and verse 2. It says, O Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. Now, when the Lord speaks, it ain't like how we speak, okay? When he opens his mouth, when he speaks, it's a loud sound, man. It's a trumpet, okay? Like when you read in Exodus chapter 19, pretty much how it talked about how that trumpet sounded louder and louder. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so we got to paint the picture. Exodus 19. And this computer makes it so easy to find precepts. Let's see. There we go. There we go. All right, this is Exodus 19 and 16. It says, and it came to pass on the third day, on the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. All right, that's the voice.
Let's say in the NLT.
Okay. Yep. Exodus 19 and 16. And we're getting straight to the point. You got to read up earlier in the chapter, but to get the whole story. But we're getting straight to the point. Exodus 19 and 16. It says, on the morning of the third day, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a dense cloud came down on the mountain. There was a long, loud blast from a ram's horn, and all the people trembled. But it says from a ram's horn because, Esau, he likes to explain things on a physical, but really when you go into it, man, the chariot makes the sound, man, You know what I'm saying? It says the voice of a trumpet exceeding loud. What one ram's horn going to make people tremble? You know what I'm saying? No, that's from the chariot, So, and now it's to let it be known that it was, the Lord, the presence of the Lord was there. That's why you had those thunderings in the cloud and the thick darkness, because why? The chariot was descending upon the mountain, right? And so when the Lord comes back, it's going to be the same thing. Okay. So going back to Habakkuk 3, all right, in verse 2, it says, O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. Right? So he's going to make short work of this place when he comes back. Okay? In the midst of the years, when everybody think he's not going to come back, that's when he's going to come back. Right? He's going to have mercy upon those that were faithful to him. It says the Most High came from Teman, which Teman is a chief city in Edom, right? It says, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise, right? Because when the chariots come back, okay, when true salvation comes to pass, all right, it's gonna be a whole change of scenery. It ain't gonna be, your everyday average you know, the day that you go to work. Okay. Ain't gonna be a regular day where you just sit back and watch Netflix and, you know, and chill. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the sky, is you're gonna see it in the sky, you're gonna see it in the weather, the animals are gonna be active, everything is gonna be different. Okay. And it's beautiful how, you know, the true salvation is correlated like in this chapter, really at the beginning of the song. You know what I'm saying? But we got to break this stuff down so that it's not, you know, misunderstood. But it says, verse 3 again, the Most High came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Selah, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Yeah, because when the Most High judges Teman, which again, Esau, you know, resides, this is basically a Edomite city. I'll say it like that, Edomite stronghold. When the Most High judges Esau, then the earth is going to be full of praise, right? Because Yahawashi going to be on the scene. Everything's going to be like how we have been praying for it to be, right? And here's the point in verse 4. Okay, it says, and his brightness was as the light, excuse me. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Okay. And so
I'm gonna say pull that horn. He had horns. Pull that definition.
Let's see here. That word horns is Strong's 7161. Quran. Okay. It says horn of strength. Okay.
Rays of light.
Yep. Rays of light.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Horns coming out of his hand. It's not talking about like bull horns coming out of your hands. It's talking about something else. You know, it's talking about the rays of light.
Yep. Kind. Yep, that's right. So, and those rays of light are gonna be them chariot beams, man.
Yeah, you know, like the Apostle Edgar Ball like to say, that wappo zappo.
Right. Yeah, them laser beams, man. You know, a vocab Malone like to scoff at it, but and there's a bunch of scoffers, but when they show up on the scene, they ain't gonna be able to scoff. You know, you're not gonna be able to scoff because you're gonna be getting scorched. You know, and there actually was a little bit more when you read down. You know, talk about how let's see here. Where was the one I wanted? Well, this is the chapter, but okay, yeah. Well, it kind of goes into all of that. You know, the mountains being melted, the mountains trembling. That's what we went into, verse 10, verse 11, right? So you can read this to kind of get an idea of how the scene is going to change, how the whole scene of when Yahawashi returns on the earth, how everything's going to change. All right, it's going to be a change in geography. Okay, everything's going to be different, man. Okay, because the creator of all these things, of all the earth, is going to be on the scene. Okay, and so Esau and these other nations, they're not going to be able to withstand the Lord when he comes back. That's ultimately what's being conveyed in verse 4 when you read Judges 5 and 4. Okay, all right, it says, I read again, Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled. Right. Another precept is, what is that? Isaiah 63. Right. Isaiah 63 and 1. You know, you can start at verse 1 on that. You know, talks about how the Lord going to be judging Seir, Esau. Okay. Which Mount Seir, that's Esau's homeland right there. Okay. Whenever you see this, which is the Hebrew word for this is sha'ir, which is hair. Okay. That's his homeland. Like how this is Esau's capital, Seir. Okay. Mount Seir is his capital, if you will. So it says the earth trembled and the heavens dropped. The clouds also dropped water. Right. So where is the Edomites that was in verse 5, or excuse me, that was in chapter 4 when we read Judges chapter 4? There weren't any Edomites mentioned, but Esau and his judgment is synonymous with salvation. Okay, So it's a beautiful thing that's being mentioned. It says, verse 5, the mountains melted from before the Lord, right? Which is going back to that Habakkuk chapter 3, reading around verse 10 area. You can see how that correlates there. Okay, it says the mountains melted from before the Lord, even that Sinai from before Yahawah, the power of Israel. And let's see here. I'm going to get this precept in Psalms 18, okay, which we pretty much went over this when we went into 2 Samuel. But I'm going to get this here in Psalms 18 and verse 7. Okay. It says the earth, I'll start at verse 6. It says, in my distress, I called upon Yahawashi and cried unto my power. You see this? You see the recurring theme here? Praying to the Lord delivering us and jacking up our enemies. You see? Mm-hmm. It says he heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. You see, because why? The Lord came and rescued us, right? The earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth. And again, man, when the Most High is upset, hey, you don't want to be on his bad side, man. You want to be on the exempt from judgment side. Okay. And so I'll read verse 8 and then I'll go back. It says, there went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. Now, does this mean that, is this talking about a dragon, a fire breathing dragon? No. Again, this is talking about the laser beams from the chariots, man. Okay. Because the mouth of the chariot is the opening. All right. That's the firing of the laser beam, man, projecting the laser beams wherever it want to go. All right. And that's how the Lord's gonna jack up these other nations, man. All right. Every chariot had a weapon of war chariot. I'm saying, like the chariots that we talked about in chapter 3. No, I'm sorry. Was it chapter 4 with the 900 chariots of iron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the chariots, the 900 chariots of iron, they that's man's version. The Most High has his version. Okay. Because what was on those chariots of iron that I keep forgetting the dude's name. Sisera. Yeah, I don't want to mess it up. Yeah. What was on the chariots of iron that Sisera had? He had weapons, right? So the Most High has his weapons on his chariots, which is the right aiming thunderbolts, okay, the horns of light, rays of light, are the hiding of his power, okay. And so that's just painting the picture. That's pretty much the gist of it. But it says, continuing on, Judges chapter 5 and verse 5, it says the mountains melted from before the Lord, even that Sinai from before the Lord, Yahawah, the power of Israel, right? Because we just read that in Exodus 19, when the Lord, it says it right here, the Lord visits Sinai, right? When the Lord descended upon Mount Sinai, the mountain was on fire.
Yep.
You gonna say something, Zaquan?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The mountain was on fire, but and there was smoke, and it was a very ominous scene. Okay, so imagine when he returns back, to save Israel as a nation, how ominous it's going to be, and so what I think about, like, when it said we read it, and because it briefly goes over it in Judges 5, it's really just a quick little, mention, where it says he discomfited, right? In Judges 4 and 15, we already read it last week, but I'm going to get this verse again, because it says, Judges 4 and 15, and the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak. But imagine, like, being the fact that Barak had a disadvantage, with his actual weaponry. The Lord could put a vision you know what I'm saying, on Sisera and his chariot and his host of men to see, you know, something else. You know what I mean? For them to see the power of the Lord that was with them. You know, the power of the Lord that was with Barak, I'll say, coming against them, right? From the perspective of Sisera, the Canaanites, like they could have seen something else that made them like afraid, you know? And so kind of painting the picture, man, when that actually comes into fruition, it's going to be a heavy thing, right? It says Judges 5:6. All right, so now this is another topic here. It says, in the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, which Shamgar was one of the judges. We read about him in Judges chapter 3 and verse 31. Okay. It says, in the days of Jael, which Jael was the woman who smote Sisera, the woman who you know put that nail through his temples. Okay. It says the highways were in those days, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose, that I arose a mother in Israel. Yeah, because I believe it was 20 years, you know, while the Canaanites was, you know, pretty much ruling. In what city was that? Can't remember the name of that. I think it was in Hazor. You know, right? While they were ruling in Hazor, basically there was a fort, a garrison. Like there was like a blockade. You know, there was Israelites that had to be removed from their land allotments because, you know, the Canaanites was up in there. So they weren't able to conduct business properly, right? And so this painting the picture of the scene, you know, that Israel had to endure for those 20 years, right? It says in verse 18, they chose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Yeah, talking about Israel, because Israel loves picking other gods to worship, you know? And pretty much what happened was after Israel started worshiping other gods, then you know, other nations started coming in and impressing Israel, right? It says, was there a shield or a spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? You see that? So there wasn't even any weapons of war, right? To basically protect for Israel to protect themselves during that time, because the Lord pretty much had to where we had our things taken away. You know, we were pretty much made to be servants, right? Even now, like, okay, like what Israelites do you know that have an air force or that have you know, ICBMs, like the modern day weapons? We don't have that stuff. We don't have no tanks or no jets, you know, no war jets or nothing like that. All right. So we're still in captivity, man. And I think I had this precept. Yeah, I had this precept in Leviticus 26, because this is basically one of the curses, right? In Leviticus 26 and 21, it says, and if you walk contrary unto me and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. You see? So you know, who's to say that the Lord didn't send certain wild beasts and different things among you know, the tribes that was going off? You know what I'm saying? And that could have been part of the reason why it was a war in the gates, and why, you know, why the highways were unoccupied, as it says in verse 6. All right. Let's see here. All right, verse 9. It says, all right, there's another topic. My heart is, or another bar, I should say, my heart is toward the governors of Israel that offered themselves willingly among the people. Bless you, the Lord. Yeah, because as we read in the commentary, there was certain tribes that did what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain tribes that came down and they helped, because really it was Naphtali and and I believe Zebulon. Let me. And when it comes to Hazor, like Hazor was in that area, you know. Let me see, Hazor. I think it's on this map.
Up top.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Yep, Naphtali, you know, Zebulon area, you know what I'm saying? That's where it was really popping at. But look at it. Asher and Dan, and I think it was it was Reuben too that didn't help. You know what I'm saying? Where they at? They down here. You know, they didn't help. You know. So anyway, going back here, it says, "My heart is toward the governors of Israel that offer themselves willingly among the people. Bless ye the Lord. Speak ye that ride on white asses, that ye that sit in judgment and walk by the way." Okay, which those that ride on white asses are synonymous with judges. Okay, it says, "They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord." Now, this is a scripture we get all the time, right? Judges 5:11. And let's see what precept I had here. Okay, I'll get that towards the end of the verse. So there's a couple of things we want to pull out. The noise of the archers. Okay, that's the noise of the ICBMs. When ICBM missiles come, okay, and Yahawashi delivers us from that, okay, then that's going to be prophecy fulfilled. Okay, now when it says the places of drawing water, isn't that in Joshua? Let me see where that precept.
Yeah, Joshua made Joshua put in drawers of water.
Let me see if it's he made, okay, it says drawers of water.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep, that's it. Joshua chapter 9. The water.
God.
All right, so you got to read the whole chapter to get the whole narrative of this chapter. But basically you had a group of heathen that came up to Joshua and said, "Hey, you know, we from a faraway land. You know, we just wanted to offer your tithes, and in exchange, you know, please don't kill us," right? And basically they deceived Joshua because they told Joshua that they weren't Canaanites, but they really were Canaanites. And you know, they really weren't from a faraway land. They just wanted to save their little whatever city they were from, or whatever the case is. So pretty much what happened is, since Joshua, you know, and the leadership at that time had made a pact with them before they found out that they actually were Canaanites, they just made them become servants, slaves, right? And so if you read here, Joshua chapter 9, and I'll read verse 19, it says, "But all the princes said unto the congregation, we have sworn unto them by the Lord, the power of Israel, and now therefore we may not touch them. But this we will do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us, because of the oath which we swear unto them. And the princes said unto them, let them live, but let all of them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation, as the princes had promised them." Right? So if you're hewing wood, right, and you're drawing water out of a well, you going and fetching and giving it to the cattle, or giving it to, you know, whatever household needs it, that's pretty much labor, you know what I'm saying? And they wasn't getting paid for that. They pretty much were like workhorses, right? So that's that type of activity symbolizes slavery, okay? Symbolizes servitude, captivity, right? And so when you go back to this chapter, because you got to get, I mean, we don't really do that here anymore. Oh, well, you know, I was chopping wood yesterday, but that ain't something that everybody does. So you got to draw the correlation. Like, you know, when it says in the places of drawing water, all right, that's the places where you are a servant, places where you are in captivity, and you slaving and working, drawing water. You know, when you go to work spiritually, you know, you pretty much, you know, drawing water, you know what I'm saying, for pay, right? You chopping wood for pay, right? And so they that are delivered from the noise of the missiles, right? The noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, or the places of servitude, places of captivity, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. We're rehearsing before a rehearsal. Let's get that word rehearse real quick. Actually, I'll get it in the Hebrew. I want to see what it says. There shall they rehearse. Strong's H 8567. Thana. Lament, or to rehearse, to recount, to tell again. You see? Let's see here. So that's what we're doing, man. We're recounting the righteous acts. Okay. That we've been commanded to perform. All right, the righteous acts of the Lord. We're telling again. That's what we're doing right now as we speak. Right now, we're rehearsing the righteous acts as we speak.
Yep. And once saying we the Passover is coming up. Yeah, the Passover is coming up. The new moon came in, signifying this being the literal beginning of the year according to the Hebrew calendar. You know, and what's 2 weeks after that? The Pesach. You see, so we rehearsing. You know, because in the when you go back into the law, you know what I'm saying. If you don't keep the Passover, you cut off. You know, so yeah, we going back. We going back to the old ways. You got it.
That's right. Yep, that's it, man. Ooh, matter of fact, isn't that a seek the old path, right? Old is it old path or old paths? It's old paths. I don't know if it's in the apocrypha or not. No, this is it right here. Jeremiah 16 and Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, thus saith the Lord, Yahawashi, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Man, that's a good precept.
Yep. So when you got these so-called Christians, it's always, well, that's in the Old Testament. That's in the Old Testament. You see? Come on now. Come on now. I will say the Lord always quoted the Old Testament. Paul always quoted the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Other prophets in the New Testament, you know what I'm saying? The disciples, the apostles, they was always going into the old, you know. Hell, even the circumcision. They was holding a grudge against the Gentiles because they was basing it off the old paths.
Yep. Man, that's
so yeah, the Lord required that which is past. So you got to be able to look back to look forward, you know. And if you don't want to do that, then that's on you.
That's right. Make sure I'm gonna precepts. All right, cool. Where we at here? Jeremiah 6 and 16. All right, it says, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein.
Now get that word walk.
Okay. I think it should be Yalak. Darak. Let's see. Yep, Yalak. That's it. Strong's H 3212. Yalak. It says to go, to walk,
live, I would say to manner of life. Walk ye in these paths.
Yep, that's it.
You see? So you live, I would say you live by walking in these paths, man. Going back to the old way, rehearsing the righteous acts. You see, we was in the middle of a process of being delivered. You see, this whole chapter is based on deliverance.
Fine. That's it. That's it. That's right. Yep. We gotta walk, man. Yeah, that's a common word in the Hebrew too.
Yeah, it talked about how Enoch walked with the Lord. It was the way he was living with the I'll say walking with the Lord. Well, so when you walk with the Lord, you live in a righteous life.
Anastrophe.
You know what I'm saying? To the best of your ability in captivity.
That's right. So it says, stand ye in the ways and see. Okay. And one of those ways is out in the highways and byways, YouTube, you know. It says, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your souls. because everybody wants to know what's the purpose of life. Why am I here? What is God's plan for me? Right. Well, when you find that out, then you have a level of you feel a level of fulfillment, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you kind of like restless in your spirit. You don't know why you're here, but you found your calling once you come into the truth. It says, but they said, we will not walk therein. Yep, 2/3 of our people here in Babylon the Great, America, they don't want to walk in those good ways, so they're not going to find rest.
That's okay. Right.
So going back here to this, I'm trying to see what chapter we was in or what verse we was in. Okay, it was in Judges 5, right? Judges 5:11. I'll read it one more time all the way through. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, of Yahawashi, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Right? So we're treating our brother as we would want to be treated, right? It says, then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Okay, and I got a precept for that last part right there in Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 1. Okay, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, stand in the gate of Yahawah's house and proclaim there his word. Okay, that's what's supposed to be going on. Okay, because the Lord's house, well, think about it like this. Where does Esau do a majority of his press, like when I'm talking about like the president and all the communication that goes out of the White House, right? Think about it like that. He pushes out his, what is it? The White House is the seat of the so you got the judicial, you got the executive, and you got the legislative. So I think it's the seat of the executive, if I'm not mistaken, because judicial is judgment, executive, that's execution. Now the president is over control over the army, he's over control of everything, right? And the legislature is like the law, the actual law itself. You got the law, the judgment, and the execution, right? That's the 3 branches of the government, right? Mm-hmm. So the White House is the seat of the executive branch.
Right.
So so when it comes to that, if you want to think about it like that, all of the edicts that go out, the vetoes and the this and that goes out from the White House, well, how much more the Lord's house? You see, the gate of the Lord's house. Right, it says, stand in the gate of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word, and say, hear the word of the Lord, Yahawashi, all ye of Judah that enter in at these gates to worship the Lord. Right, so you want to come to the Lord's house, the Lord is going to have individuals there at the gates of his house to proclaim, what he requires, what he wants you to know, the mindset that you're going to need in order to worship him. Okay, and so that's pretty much the best precept I could find for the explanation of this last part of this verse here. Mm-hmm. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates, right? And so this is another portion here of this is another bar in the song, Judges 5:12. It says, awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity captive. Well, that sounds familiar. This phrase right here. Mm-hmm. Lead captivity captive. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this joint up real quick. Psalm 68:18. All right, it says, ooh, man, this is I didn't have everything planned, so I'm kind of like I'm getting surprised as I'm going through this. But
hey, cook, young man, cook.
It's Psalm 68 and 17, because the common theme is the chariots of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vehicles of salvation. If you don't know, bro, if you don't believe that, you know, if you don't believe that the way out of this place and into everlasting life is through the chariots, then yo, he's not dealing with you, man.
Yeah, they're not gonna pick you up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You think you're gonna get in another way? Good luck. Okay. It says the chariots of the Lord, all right, are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
You know what I'm saying? Letting you know that back then, during the time of Sinai, that was a chariot.
Man. Con. Yep. It says,
but I will say the scriptures just keep on giving, man.
Yeah.
I will say as long as the scriptures talk about devouring wisdom, you see, eating this whole roll. So having that understanding and devouring this wisdom means to receive it and devour it, you know, to understand it. And you run across these little nuggets. You run across these little nuggets constantly, man. You know, it's like that whole Hansel and Gretel concept. You know, leaving those breadcrumbs to get us back home.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. It says the Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Psalm 68 and 18. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Okay. So really the Most High gets the credit, right? Most High gets the credit when he uses certain men, right? Because we just read that in verse, was that 12, right? Barak, lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinoam, right? But who is the power? Who is the one that's behind and given and energizing Barak to do these things? Ultimately, it's Yahawashi. Okay, and so it says, "Thou hast thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive." All right. So what it means is the ones that have us in captivity, they're gonna go into captivity. Okay, Revelation 13 and 10. Right. It says, "Thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi might dwell among them." Yeah, you see. So there's going to be order set up to where the Lord gets his what's the word? He gets his respect. You know, he gets his first fruits. Okay, he gets his portion this offering, I should say, that he requires. Okay, whether you evil or righteous, man. Okay, he's gonna require a sacrifice from you. You see? So going back here to verse 13, it says, "Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty." Right? And that's what's going to happen in the kingdom. I mean, this happened on a smaller scale here, right? When we had temporarily got back control over the Canaanites, because the Canaanites were restless. We never fully got control over them forever. It was just for a period of time until they came back, right? But in the kingdom, man, all the nations going to be under subjection eternally. They're never going to raise up and overthrow Israel and put us back in slavery. Hell no.
Right.
This is the last captivity. And what is that? Lamentations 4 and 21 tells you that. Talk about how Esau, matter of fact, just go ahead and get it. Lamentations 4 and 21. Yeah. Okay. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom." There's the common denominator again, Esau. There goes Esau again. Okay. "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." Right. And when Esau gets judged, okay, the punishment of our iniquity is going to be accomplished. You see, and that cup is basically the cup of judgment and the cup of slavery and captivity. Okay, when he becomes which he's being made drunk right now. Okay, and he's being exposed right now, what it means, what it says to make thyself naked. But he's gonna be fully exposed and fully powerless and weak when he's in captivity.
Get that word accomplished.
Okay. Samam. Oh, yeah, we already know that. Yep.
I knew it. Yep.
That's it.
Samam. It's done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Complete.
Yeah.
Right?
So once our captivity is complete, that's it. You see? Wholly, entirely, right? To be finished, to end, to come to an end, to cease, right? To be exhausted, to be finished, to be destroyed. Our captivity is going to be destroyed. You see?
Man.
To be completely crossed over. Another word for crossover is the Passover. To be delivered. You see?
Yep.
Finished, complete, perfect. That's what I'm saying. Our captivity is going to be perfected. It's going to be done.
Yep.
You see?
Yep. That's right. That's right, man. You know, and we're coming into the end of our punishment, man. So you always get excited when you know you're gonna get your TV back or whatever you got taken away.
Yeah. I will say, especially in captivity. Yeah, in captivity, shit. I remember one time I was in jail for a week because I didn't pay my tickets. You know what I'm saying? But the closer I got, I would say the closer I got to knowing, because I knew I was gonna have to be in jail for a week. You know what I'm saying? So shit, I went in there on a Sunday. Shit, came Friday. I was chomping at the bit to get up out that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Kind.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I called myself doing my time because I didn't want to pay the money. Ended up having to pay the money anyway. I sat in the jail for a whole damn week and didn't even have to, man. Ariana cussed my ass out. He's like, man, we came and got you, man. What the hell?
Man.
Oh man, that might have been too much info, but fuck it. That was 13, 14 years ago.
God. That's your pop.
I haven't been back since.
Call
Halal, Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Lord willing, I ain't going back. I was saying they can't lock me up for nothing but preaching.
Call Yahawashi, man. That's right. You see? So, hey, man, so it's going to be a beautiful thing. You know, it's going to be a beautiful thing when we get the retribution. When but it starts with Yahawashi. Yahawashi is going to get the retribution. Okay. And since we on his side, you know, we've been getting persecuted for his sake. So it's going to be retribution for us too. Okay. But it's all going to go to the glory of Yahawashi. Right. So it says, I'll read verse 13 again. It says, then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty. Yeah, you know, dominion over the nobles of these other nations, the mighty of these other nations, like, you know, the descendants of Goliath and all these other nations, mighty men. You know, we're gonna have them in captivity too, right? And it says, verse 14, out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek. After thee, Benjamin among thy people. Out of Machir came down governors, and out of Zebulon they that handle the pen of the writer. Okay, now pretty much when you get this, it goes into a little bit of history. Let's get the cross reference real quick. Some of the stuff, pretty much most of the stuff we went over already. Let's see here. Yep, Judges 3:27. What does it say right here? I'm trying to remember what this is. Okay, that's right. This talked about when Ehud, you know, pretty much freed Israel. He blew the trumpet in Mount Ephraim. All right, and you had the Ephraimites pretty much come out and do their thing and take control back over the land. It says against Amalek. Okay. Let's see here. He gathered them under the children of Amalek, smote Israel. Oh, that's right. Because when you read here, yeah, see, some of these small details are easy to forget. But pretty much Amalek, where is that here? Okay. Amalek was up in the mix when Elgon, the king of Moab, had came and pretty much, you know, had possessed Israel. You know, it came in and took over a portion of Israel, right? It says in verse 13, and he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek. and went and smote Israel. So Amalek was up in there too. So when Elgon, this is going back to last week, when Elgon got taken out.
I mean, it was chapter 3, right?
Chapter 3. Yep.
Okay.
So just as a refresher, just to break down this particular verse, when Elgon had got taken out, which was the king of Moab, also the children, the Ammonites and the Amalekites, they also got taken out of power as well, because they pretty much came and helped Elgon. What I'm saying? Which Moab is the modern day Chinese, okay, and then you got Ammon, which is the modern day Japanese, okay, and then you have Amalek, which is the modern day
Edomite.
Small hats, Edomites, okay, and over there in the land, all right, imposters, right? So going back here, all right, so that's the explanation on that. It says, out of Machir came down governors, and out of Zebulon they that handle the pen of the writer. So you had, of course, these things being documented. And it says, verse 15, and the princes of Issachar were with Deborah, even Issachar and also Barak. He was sent on foot into the valley. For the divisions of Reuben, there were great thoughts of heart. So this part right here, it's kind of like, consider this verse kind of like separate, or this part of the verse kind of separate, because it's in the same verse, but it commends these tribes here, Benjamin, Ephraim, I think Machir is Manasseh, Zebulon gets commended, Issachar gets commended, right? But Reuben was divided, in mind, okay? Basically they were proud, That's what it's saying when it says there were great thoughts of heart. It says for the divisions of Reuben, there were great thoughts of heart, meaning this is kind of like a bad thing. It's not a commitment. This part here is like a reprimanding, negative review on Reuben, right? On the tribe of Reuben during this time with this particular situation that chapter 4 goes into. It says, why, and pertaining to Reuben, still in verse 16, why abodest thou among the sheepfolds to hear the beatings of the flocks? For the divisions of Reuben were their great searchings of heart. Okay. Yeah. So matter of fact, I want to get that in the NLT. See what it says in verse 16.
You read my mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You see that? But in the tribe, but in the tribe of Reuben, there was great indecision, meaning they didn't act on it. They were like, oh, damn, should we go down and help our brothers to fight against these Canaanites? Right? It says, why do you sit at home among the sheepfolds to hear the shepherds whistle for their flocks? Basically, to twiddle your thumbs. You over here doing your regular everyday shit, clocking in. Meanwhile, your brothers is fighting for they land allotments. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for positions of their land that they've been in captivity for 20 years, and y'all over here. Oh well, that's just their tribe. They're 30 miles away from us. We don't got to worry about that. Let them handle that shit, right? Nah, that wasn't a good look, right? It says, yes, in the tribe of Reuben, there was great indecision. Okay, and I'll read verse 17 in NLT, and I'll go back to KJ after this. It says, Gilead remained east of Jordan, which I want to say, trying to remember what tribe Gilead represents. Go to my deal. Keep clicking the wrong one. Machir is Manasseh. Gilead is Gad. Okay. It says Gad, which is aka Gilead down here. So Gad was also remained east of Jordan, which makes sense. Okay, Gilead here. Let's see where. Yep, Gad, which is east of the Jordan River. Yep. So Gilead, aka Gad, was tripping too. I guess we was tripping too, Zaquan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when they call what's that? When they call you to the army draft, we didn't get we denied the
draft dodgers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So it says
it says
it's just
draft dodging ass.
It says Gilead remained east of Jordan. And why did Dan stay home? Asher sat unmoved at the seashore, remaining in his harbor. So they, chilling on the beach.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So it says, but Zebulun risked his life, as did Naphtali on the heights of the battlefield. So that the tribes that didn't participate, it was being called out. But hey man, the beautiful thing is now in these times, 144,000, 12,000 out of each tribe.
Yep.
So now it's like, hold on. Now it's like the elect. I mean, they're all gonna be on one accord under Yahawashi, which is beautiful.
That's right.
Right. So going back to the King James version, we read verse 18. All right, verse 19. It says the kings came and fought. Then fought the kings of Canaan. All right, the kings of Israel, which really you could say princes of Israel, came and fought the kings of Canaan in Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo. They took no gain of money, which Magadwan, of troops, right? The water. Let me just go ahead and get it. Even though it's in my brain, let me go ahead and pull it up. Let's see here. Magadwan, Strong's H4023. Okay, the root word is God or Gadad, which is troop. Okay, Magadwan is place of crowds. Properly, it was at the beginning of the word is of or from. God is the root word, which is troops, and then one makes it plural. So of or from troops. That's literally how you would say it. But place of crowds is that's how you could extrapolate that. It says ancient city of Canaan assigned to Manasseh and located in the southern rim. Okay, anyway. So there we go. So it says they took no gain of money. All right, they came in and basically helped. Tribes getting mixed up in my head now. What was the main one in Hazor? Let me see. They helped Naphtali. The other nations that did the other tribes that did participate, they helped Naphtali and they helped Zebulon. For no extra pay. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't charge them for that. Oh, here go Megiddo right here in Manasseh. Right. Just so that can be known where that went down. Right. Which we got that in the last chapter. It's in the same area. You know what I'm saying? It's in the same area, So just letting that be known there. Let's see here. All right. It says they fought from heaven, verse 20, Judges, and we got like 10 more verses. All right, let me speed it up. It says they fought from heaven, the stars and their courses fought against Sisera. That kind of reminds me of that Genesis scripture with Joshua and the 12 stars. Just a side note. It says verse 21, the river of Kishon swept them away, that ancient river, the river Kishon. O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength. Then were the horse hoofs, and this is just basically all commending the war victory that we had over Sisera, over the Canaanites.
I got the Bridgeway commentary for that part.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. It says, let me see. Sisera escape. All right.
I got it right here too.
Yeah, where it talks about the Lord bringing that storm.
Okay. Let's see. I think I saw that up more, or was that in? Let me see. I can't search this because it's too long. Oh, okay. I see it here. Yeah, I got it right here. I'll read this paragraph. It says, Deborah and Barak. I forgot to mention this. Deborah and Barak's song of praise recalls the dramatic activity of the Most High, the initiative of the leaders, and the willing service of the people, which together produced this spectacular victory. It says the rainstorm that the Most High used to fight for his people reminded them of the earthquake he sent at Mount Sinai.
Yeah, and what I said, when you continue to read, it tell you how the Lord brought that storm in and it made it harder for our opposition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just like you had the tribes that didn't want to help, the ones that was willing to go out there, the Lord intervened. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like now, the groups that ain't willing to go out there, hey, the Lord is gonna be with those that are. You got it.
Yep. That's part of that discomforting that that the Lord did, you know, on our behalf. All right, going back to Judges 22 and Judges chapter 1 and verse 22, it says, "Then were the horse hoofs broken by the means of the prancings of their mighty ones." You know, I got to get that word, prancing. Let's see what it's talking about. Okay. Looks to be the same word. Strong's H1726. Dahara. Prancing, rushing, galloping. Okay.
Yeah, so when it got to raining, I would say when it got to raining and all that, it got all muddy and it got all uncomfortable for the horses and shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the horses being in war mode, they was frightened by not being able to get their footing. So they got to tripping. Once the horses got to tripping, it made it easier for us to get on their helmets. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So the Lord made it real uncomfortable.
Okay, man, that makes a lot of sense now. He had them iron chairs with them iron wheels, but what good is your iron?
Yeah, man. But they were sinking into the ground. Some of them was drowning. You know what I'm saying? The horses was all frightened and scared and shit. You know what I'm saying? So they wasn't able to fight. And Israel was in that same storm, but they wasn't having those problems, which lets you know that the Lord intervened.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So it says, verse 23, "Curse ye Meroz," said the angel of the Lord. "Curse ye bitterly the inhabitants thereof, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to help the Lord against the mighty." Let's see who was Meroz. Okay, here we go. Psalms H4789. A place in northern Palestine. Marawaz. Okay, means refuge. Okay, so it says the location is unknown. A town in northern Palestine, which it doesn't specify my good map at. Oh, you know what? I might be able to finesse
it. I say, go on, type it in.
Yeah, let's see where I say. See what it say. Mount Tabor. Okay, got you. All right, this is where it says is at right here. You know what I'm saying? Meroz, Mount Tabor. Let's go back to that commentary on that. Meroz. This name only occurs once in scripture. The angel of the Lord is represented as invoking curses upon Meroz because the inhabitants came not to help Yahawashi in the day of Deborah and Barak's victory. It says, "It is a strange fate shared with Chorazin to be preserved from oblivion only by the record of a curse." Let's see. Yeah, it says it doesn't have any other references. And it says, this must be due to a special gravity of an offense that happened in Meroz, because Reuben, Gilead, and Dan were far away. It says, okay, it says perhaps Meroz, and this is speculation, by the way, because it doesn't have much information on here, but it says perhaps Meroz was near the battlefield and at some stage of conflict within sight and hearing of strife, they turned a deaf ear, okay, and a cold heart to the dire straits of their brethren. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't have a lot of information on Meroz. It's only mentioned once in the scripture, but the inhabitants of this place, you know, can be assumed that they didn't want to help, you know what I'm saying, in the military campaign, even though it was easy. It would have been easy for them to do so. Okay. And so didn't know that until now. But continuing on here in verse 24, Blessed above women shall Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be above women in the tent. Yeah, even though she was a heathen. You know what I'm saying? Well, her husband was a heathen. I'll just say it like that and leave it at that. You know, her husband, Heber, was a Midianite, right? He was a relative.
She kind of make you think about what's the old girl name that helped the spies?
Yeah, Rahab.
Rahab. You know what I'm saying? She had a Rahab spirit on her, you know, to help Israel. You know?
That's right. That's right. All right. It says, blessed shall she be above women in the tent. Because she killed Sisera, the enemy, the captain of the host of the army that was oppressing Israel for 20 years. So yeah, she got that blessing. Right. It says he asked water, and this is just recounting what happened in chapter 4, you know, that interaction between her and Sisera. It says Sisera asked for water. That's the he that's talking about. And she gave him milk. Jael gave him milk instead of water. She didn't even give him no water. You know, it says she brought forth butter in a lordly dish. Basically, she she didn't even really fully fulfill his request. Like she just, you know, gave something that was halfway decent, barely helping him out, you know, just so that he could.
I'm saying she probably knew the herbs. You know what I'm saying? Put something in it that was gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? Cause shit, you never know. It's so many. I'll say it's so many different herbs out there that'll put you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So who knows?
Yep. It says verse 26. She put her hand to the nail, and her right hand to the workman's hammer, and with the hammer she smote Sisera, and smote off his head. Man. It says she smote off his head when she had pierced and stricken through his temples.
I'm talking about she took his ass out like Tuesday's trash.
Man, it was a Sisera kebab, man. Made that nigga head a kebab. You know what I'm saying? Put his ass on a steak.
Man.
All right. I want his head on a platter. All right, this is Judges chapter 5 and 27. It says, at her feet he bowed, he fell, he lay down. At her feet he fell, he bowed. Where he bowed, there he fell down dead. Right? So that was his last resting place, as we said last week. That was his last nap.
He died.
Man.
He died.
It says this is the last part. I like this part of the chapter too, by the way. This is the last part of the chapter. It says the mother of Sisera looked out at a window. It's like painting a picture, really, because they prophesying. They're not in front of Sisera's mother's house to know what happened. You know, they're just reporting the vision, like painting the picture for us, right? And this is what Jake does, like, you know, on a level, you know, they're like, man, you know, I'm gonna put him on a t-shirt. I'm gonna have his mama crying about him, this and that, you know, on the wicked side of things. But really, this is how we should be towards the other nations. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, Sisera was one of the first niggas to get put on a spiritual t-shirt, man, spiritually. Okay, because his mom, it says the mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariots? Right? So they're painting a picture of Sisera, mother, you know, gazing out the window like, man, he's sure been gone for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Well, where them 900 iron chariots at? It's been a long time.
Read that part in the NLT.
Yeah. You know what? I'll read the whole rest of this chapter in the NLT. Because it'll be good stuff. Judges 5.
Thank you, Alazar.
Judges 5 and 28.
I'd like to give a shout out to the chief high priest Alazar for his contribution of the NLT to the ministry. Fuck out of here, nigga. Go ahead, bro. I had to get it. I had to, cuz.
It wouldn't
I had to, cuz.
God. This is Judges 5:28. It says, from the window, Sisera's mother looked out. From the window, she watched for his return, saying, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why don't we hear the sound of chariot wheels? Her wise women answer, and she repeats these words to herself, right? It says they must be dividing the captured plunder with a woman or two for every man.
No, they lost. They lost. Well, they must be taking up the spoils. They had to win. They had to have won with all that firepower they had, all them chariots. You know, they must have won the war. Now they celebrating. Now they dead. Go ahead.
That's right. It says there will be colorful robes for Sisera and colorful embroidered robes for me. Yes, the plunder will include colorful robes embroidered on both sides.
Dead wrong.
Man, it says, Lord, Yahawah, may all your enemies die like Sisera, but may those who love you rise like the sun in all its power. Then there was peace in the land for 40 years.
That's what I'm saying. But you see the captivity is always doubled up. You know what I'm saying? You got the captivity, and then you got the deliverance. The peace is always doubled up. You know what I'm saying? We started at 8 years. It jumped to 16. Then it jumped to 20 something. You know what I'm saying? Now the peace is 40 years. You see?
Con.
And each time the Lord gave us freedom for longer, we messed it up anyway.
Yep. That's right. Oh, and for you one woman Israelite guys, what's up with this scripture right here? For you want another scripture to prove that a regular man outside of David and Abraham had more than one woman? Here you go. Dividing the spoil and dividing the plunder included having a woman or two, okay, as a captive. I'll say
also letting you know that it's always, I don't care where you at, it's more women than men.
Con.
Across the planet. You know? So yeah, man. Yeah, you got it.
Yep, that's it. That's the point being made. Let me see if there's any precepts on the page. Okay, it's a good one. Second Thessalonians 1:16. I'm sorry, 1:6. I will remove this off there. All right, this is Second Thessalonians 1:6. It says, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you, and to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahawashi shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels. You see?
That's what I'm saying. And when those that rested with the judges was the ones that was delivered. You got to keep that in mind. So those that's hearkening to Yahawah Shem Yahawashi nowadays, based on the judges, which start with the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone, on down to the affiliate camps and those men, women, and children that believe on their word, that's pursuant to John chapter 17. You see? But it's always the Lord always set up judges, and then he had those that followed and those that didn't. You got it.
That's right. That's the lessons of Quan. I think that's pretty much hits the nail on the head. We broke down all the prophecies in there. We got examples. You know what I'm saying? I feel good about it.
Con. You can go ahead and close us out.
Con. Abaratazah, this is edifying. Lord willing, we'll be back next week with chapter 6. With that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and those of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.